The stars shone brightly against the black canvas of space as the massive Varn ship approached the outer edges of the Sol system. On the command deck, Commander Dex stood with his hands clasped behind his back, watching the blue-green planet. On the main screen, Earth looked peaceful from this distance, unaware of the eyes now fixed upon it. "Preliminary scans complete, Commander," said Officer Pell, her fingers moving quickly across the control panel. "The planet has abundant water, breathable atmosphere, and diverse life forms. It appears ideal for our needs." Dex nodded slowly. He had led 7 successful planetary acquisitions for the Varn Collective, but something about this mission felt different. The Varn High Command had identified Earth as their next target after their long-range scanners detected radio signals suggesting intelligent life. But the signals appeared primitive compared to Varn technology. "What about their defense capabilities?" Dex asked, his voice deep and measured. "Limited, sir," replied Pell. "They have basic space travel, satellites, and some nuclear weapons, nothing that could threaten our fleet. Their technology seems to be at least 200 cycles behind ours." Dex smiled. This would be an easy conquest, another jewel in the crown of the ever-expanding Varn Collective. They needed new worlds to support their growing population, and Earth seemed perfect. "Begin the standard observation protocol," he ordered. "Send scout ships to monitor their major population centers, but maintain stealth mode. We will observe for 20 cycles before making our presence known." "Yes, Commander," Pell responded, relaying the orders to the fleet. On Earth, life continued as normal. In a small radio astronomy station nestled in the mountains of Wyoming, Jack Miller worked the night shift alone. At 45, Jack had spent most of his career listening to the stars, hoping to detect signs of intelligent life. Most of his colleagues thought his dedication was foolish, but Jack never lost hope. The computer beeped, drawing Jack's attention. He adjusted his glasses and leaned forward, studying the unusual pattern appearing on his screen. "What the hell?" he muttered, tapping commands to enhance the signal. The pattern didn't match any natural cosmic phenomenon he'd ever seen. It appeared structured, almost like a code. Jack's heart raced as he began recording the signal and running it through various analysis programs. After 20 years of searching, could this finally be it? First contact? He reached for his phone to call his supervisor, but stopped. They'd want proof, solid evidence before taking him seriously. He needed more data. Outside the station, stars twinkled innocently in the night sky, hiding the Varn scout ship that hovered silently above, its advanced cloaking technology rendering it invisible to Earth's detection systems. 3 days later, at the Pentagon, Air Force General Tom Harris reviewed reports of unusual radar anomalies detected near Jupiter. The anomalies had appeared suddenly and then vanished just as quickly. "Could be equipment malfunction," suggested Major Lisa Brown, his intelligence officer. A former fighter pilot with sharp instincts, Lisa had never fully trusted technology. But similar readings were reported by 3 separate tracking stations. General Harris frowned. "Natural phenomena?" "Possibly," Lisa replied, though her expression suggested otherwise. "But the movement patterns seem too deliberate. I've never seen anything like it." "Keep this quiet for now," the general ordered. "I don't want to cause panic over what might be a technical glitch, but double our satellite surveillance of that sector." Lisa nodded, but as she left the general's office, an uneasy feeling settled in her stomach. Something was out there, watching them. She could feel it. Back on the Varn command ship, Dex reviewed the first reports from the scout vessels. The data confused him. "These readings can't be right," he said, pointing to the screen. "Their military bases show energy signatures far more advanced than their general technology level would suggest." Officer Mick, the chief science officer, scratched his gray chin thoughtfully. "It is unusual. Their civilian technology appears quite basic, but these military installations, some of their capabilities approach our own. A species that develops military technology before civilian applications?" asked Pell. "That doesn't follow the normal evolution pattern." Dex felt a flutter of concern. The Varn Collective had conquered many worlds, but all followed predictable technological development paths. Earth seemed different. Send more scouts, he ordered. I want detailed scans of every major military installation, and maintain absolute stealth. If they are more advanced than we thought, we cannot risk early detection. At his small apartment, Jack had barely slept for 3 days. His walls were covered with printouts of the signal patterns he'd detected. He'd tried every decoding algorithm he knew, but nothing made sense yet. The phone rang, startling him from his work. Jack Miller, he answered absently. Jack, it's Ben, from the station. You need to come in right now. Ben's voice sounded strained. We're picking up those signals again, but they're stronger, and they're coming from multiple points now. Jack's heart skipped a beat. I'll be there in 20 minutes. As he rushed to gather his notes, Jack glanced out his window at the night sky. For a moment he thought he saw a faint light moving unnaturally among the stars. He blinked, and it was gone. Lisa Brown sat in a classified briefing room with representatives from various intelligence agencies. The atmosphere was tense as satellite images flashed on the large screen. These objects were captured by our deep space telescopes near Jupiter's orbit, explained Dr. Allen from NASA. They disappeared from our conventional radar almost immediately, but the optical telescopes caught them briefly. The images showed blurry shapes that clearly didn't match any known spacecraft design. They were smooth, almost oval, with no visible propulsion systems. Are we talking about? Someone began, not finishing the question. We're not making any official conclusions yet, Dr. Allen replied carefully. But these objects move in ways that defy our understanding of physics. They accelerated from stationary to 60,000 miles per hour in less than 3 seconds. Any communication attempts? Asked a CIA representative. None, replied Dr. Allen. But we've detected unusual scanning frequencies directed at Earth. Whatever these objects are, they're studying us. Lisa felt a chill run down her spine. How long have they been watching? We first detected them 5 days ago, but they could have been there longer with their stealth capabilities. The room fell silent as the implications sank in. Humanity might not be alone anymore. On the Varn ship, alarms suddenly blared. Dex rushed to the command center. What's happening? He demanded. One of our scout ships was nearly detected, Commander, Pell reported nervously. Earth's detection systems are more sophisticated than we thought. The scout had to execute an emergency maneuver to avoid being tracked. Impossible, Dex muttered. Their technology shouldn't be capable of that. Mick approached with a serious expression. Commander, I've completed a deeper analysis of their communications. Their technological development doesn't follow a steady progression like most species. They have periods of explosive advancement, especially during times of conflict. He displayed a chart showing Earth's technological timeline. Notice these spikes. They coincide with what they call world wars and other periods of intense competition. Dex studied the chart with growing concern. They advance through conflict? Yes, Commander. And there's more. Some of their military installations show signs of technology that shouldn't exist based on their overall development level. It's as if they're hiding their true capabilities. The command center fell silent. The easy conquest Dex had anticipated suddenly seemed much less certain. Recall all scout ships, he ordered finally. We need to reassess our approach. This planet may require more careful handling than we thought. As the officers rushed to comply, Dex turned back to the view screen, gazing at the distant blue world. For the first time in his long career of conquest, he felt something unfamiliar, a twinge of doubt. On Earth, unaware of the eyes watching from beyond, humanity continued its daily routines. But in hidden military bases and one small radio astronomy station in Wyoming, the first pieces of a world-changing puzzle were beginning to come together. The game of cat and mouse had begun, only neither side yet knew which was which. Jack Miller's discovery had not gone unnoticed. Within days, his small radio astronomy station in Wyoming became the center of attention for a select group of government officials. They arrived in black SUVs early in the morning, led by Major Lisa Brown. Mr. Miller, Lisa said, showing her military ID. We need to talk about the signals you've been tracking. Jack's eyes widened. How did you know about that? I haven't published anything yet. We monitor communications related to unusual astronomical phenomena, she replied carefully. Your discovery aligns with other observations we've been tracking. Inside the station, Jack displayed his findings on the main screen, complex patterns that repeated at precise intervals. These aren't natural, Jack explained, his voice filled with excitement and fear. They're too structured, too regular, and they're coming from multiple points now, primarily near Jupiter's orbit. Lisa nodded, her expression grave. We've detected unusual objects in that same area, objects that move in ways our physics can't explain. Jack felt a chill run down his spine. After years of searching the stars for signs of intelligent life, the confirmation brought more fear than joy. Are we being invaded? He asked quietly. We don't know yet, Lisa answered honestly, but we need your help to understand what they're saying. Aboard the Varn flagship, Commander Dex faced mounting problems. Their stealth technology wasn't working as effectively as expected. 3 scout ships had nearly been detected in the past. Week alone. How is this possible? Dex demanded, pacing the command center. Their detection systems shouldn't be this advanced. Officer Mick displayed new findings on the main screen. We've discovered something unusual, Commander. Earth appears to have a hidden defense network. It's cleverly disguised as ordinary satellites and space debris, but our deep scans reveal sophisticated technology. Dex studied the images with growing concern. The humans had created a detection grid that covered their entire planet, disguised as ordinary communication satellites. They're paranoid, Officer Pell observed. They built all this without even knowing we exist. Or perhaps they've encountered others before us, Mick suggested quietly. The possibility hung in the air, unsettling the entire command staff. The Varn Collective had always believed themselves to be among the most advanced spacefaring civilizations. The idea that others might have already visited Earth, or worse, that humanity had repelled previous visitors, was disturbing. We need more information, Dex decided finally. Prepare a landing team. We'll send them to one of their less populated areas to collect intelligence directly. General Tom Harris stood before the Emergency Council of World Leaders, gathered secretly, in an underground facility beneath Geneva. The faces on the screens represented every major nation on Earth. Ladies and gentlemen, Harris began, the evidence is now undeniable. We are being observed by vessels of non-human origin. Murmurs filled the secure communication channels as Harris displayed satellite images and data collected from around the world. In the past 2 weeks, we've recorded over 50 instances of these craft in Earth's orbit. They're using advanced cloaking technology, but our Sentinel defense network has detected their energy signatures. The President of the United States leaned forward. General, what do we know about their intentions? Very little, Madam President. They haven't attempted communication. Their behavior suggests reconnaissance. They're studying us, particularly our military capabilities. Could this be first contact? Asked the British Prime Minister. The Russian president's voice was grim. First contacts don't typically involve stealth. This appears more like preparation for something else. We agree, General Harris replied, which is why we've activated Protocol Omega. The announcement caused visible reactions among the world leaders. Protocol Omega had been established decades ago, a contingency plan for exactly this scenario. The Omega weapons platforms are now on standby, Harris continued, and we've begun warming up the Horizon system. The Chinese premier's eyes widened. Horizon wasn't scheduled to be operational for another 3 years. We accelerated the timeline, Harris explained. The system is at 70% capacity now. If these visitors have hostile intentions, they'll find Earth far from defenseless. Near the small town of Baker, Nevada, the night sky briefly shimmered as a Varn scout ship descended silently. Into the desert, 2 figures emerged wearing adaptive suits that helped them blend into the landscape. Remember, observation only, said Tark, the mission leader. We gather information and leave without detection. His companion Lear activated a scanning device. The nearest human settlement is 5 miles east. Small population, minimal security. They moved through the desert night with practiced efficiency, their enhanced vision allowing them to see clearly in the darkness. As they approached the town, they slowed, observing the simple structures and primitive vehicles. Their ground transportation still uses combustion engines, Lear noted with disdain. Primitive, just as our reports indicated. Tark wasn't so certain. The contrast between Earth's apparent technological level and their surprisingly advanced detection systems troubled him. A sudden noise made them freeze. Headlights appeared on the desert road coming their way. "Hide," Tark hissed, activating his suit's camouflage mode. The vehicle, a military truck, stopped nearby. Two humans emerged, carrying strange devices that emitted a soft hum. "Signal's strongest here," one said, adjusting his equipment, just like the others. "Third one this week," the other replied. "Command thinks they're landing parties gathering intel." Tark and Lear exchanged alarmed glances. The humans knew they were coming? How was that possible? The soldiers swept the area with their devices, moving steadily closer to the hidden Varn. "We need to retreat," Tark whispered. "Now." As they began to back away, Lear stepped on a dry branch. The snap seemed deafening in the quiet desert night. One soldier raised his hand. "You hear that?" Both humans raised weapons, switching on powerful lights that cut through the darkness. "Military command, this is Outpost 7. One spoke into a communication device. "We have movement at the landing site, requesting immediate backup." Tark signaled to Lear, and both Varn began running toward their hidden ship. Behind them they heard shouts and the sound of vehicles starting up. "They saw us!" Lear gasped as they sprinted across the desert. "Impossible," Tark replied. "Our suits should make us invisible to their eyes." Yet somehow the humans were tracking them with unerring accuracy. They reached their ship just as military vehicles appeared on the horizon. As they lifted off, something struck the hull, a tracking device that began broadcasting their position to every military installation within 1,000 miles. Back at the radio astronomy station, Jack Miller worked alongside a team of cryptographers and linguists, attempting to decode the alien signals. Progress had been slow until Lisa brought in a new piece of information. "We captured this from the scout ship that landed in Nevada," she explained, displaying a new signal pattern. "It's a direct transmission to what we believe is their mothership." Jack compared it to his earlier recordings. "The structure is similar, but this is much clearer." He began running it through his decoding algorithms. "If we can break this, we might finally understand what they're saying." The computer worked for hours, analyzing patterns and searching for meaning in the alien communication. Finally, a partial translation appeared. "Human defenses, unexpected, request additional preparation for..." The last word made everyone in the room go silent. "Are we sure about this translation?" Lisa asked, her voice tight. Jack nodded, slowly. "The algorithm is confident about this part. The last word translates to conquest or possibly acquisition." Lisa looked at the team of scientists and military personnel gathered in the small station. "I need to inform General Harris immediately. It appears we're not dealing with peaceful explorers." As she stepped outside to make the secure call, Lisa looked up at the stars. Somewhere up there, an alien fleet was preparing to take their world. What they didn't know was that humanity had been preparing for this moment for generations. Earth was about to show its teeth. The urgent meeting of Earth's Joint Defense Council convened at 0300 hours in the underground facility beneath Geneva. Representatives from all major military powers sat around a circular table, their faces grim in the harsh light. General Harris stood at the central display, showing footage of the alien scout ship that had been tracked leaving Nevada. "We successfully attached a tracking device to their vessel," he explained. "For 6 hours we monitored its return to the main fleet hiding behind Jupiter's moon Callisto. Then our signal was detected and blocked." "How many ships are we facing?" asked the Russian commander. "Based on energy signatures, we estimate 18 major vessels and at least 40 smaller craft," Harris replied. "Their technology appears to be approximately 30 years ahead of our publicly known capabilities." The emphasis on publicly known wasn't lost on anyone in the room. For decades, the world's governments had hidden their most advanced weapon systems, preparing for this very scenario. The translation team has confirmed the aliens' intentions, Harris continued. They call themselves the Varn Collective. They're an expansionist species that has conquered multiple worlds. Earth is next on their list. Lisa Brown stepped forward. The good news is they believe us to be less advanced than we actually are. Their reconnaissance has focused primarily on our civilian infrastructure, which gives us an advantage. Then, it's time to activate the Horizon system, said the Chinese general. Harris nodded. All Horizon platforms are now at full operational status. Additionally, we're deploying Aurora squadrons to defensive positions. The Aurora program, hypersonic, aircraft with neural link pilots, had been kept completely secret from the public. Only those with the highest security clearances knew of their existence. What about the captured alien? Asked the French representative. Harris glanced at Lisa. Major Brown will lead the interrogation team. Commander Dex paced the command deck of his ship, fury evident in every step. The mission to Earth's surface had been a disaster. How did they detect our scouts? He demanded. And how did they manage to track the ship back toward our position? Officer Mick looked troubled. Commander, we've analyzed the device they attached to our scout ship. It's far more sophisticated than anything we expected from them. Their level of paranoia is unprecedented, Officer Pell added. They have defense systems in place against threats they shouldn't even know exist. A communication alert sounded and Dex turned to the main screen. The face of Supreme Director Cass appeared, the leader of the Varn Collective expedition. Commander Dex, Cass said, his voice cold. Your reconnaissance has been compromised. The humans are aware of our presence and appear to have unexpected defensive capabilities. Dex stood straight. Yes, Supreme Director. We've encountered some complications. The Collective does not tolerate complications, Commander. Cass's eyes narrowed. Our resource needs grow urgent. We cannot wait any longer. You will proceed with the first phase of acquisition immediately. But Supreme Director, we haven't completed our assessment of their— That is an order, Commander, Cass interrupted. Target their largest military installation. Show them our power, break their will to resist quickly. The communication ended abruptly, leaving Dex staring at the blank screen. He turned to his officers. Prepare the attack fleet, he ordered. Reluctantly. Target their military base in the region they call Nevada. It appears to be a testing ground for their weapon systems. In a secure facility at Area 51, Lisa Brown stood before a transparent containment cell. Inside sat a humanoid figure with grayish-blue skin and large almond-shaped eyes. The captured Varn scout Tark watched her warily. We know why you're here, Lisa said clearly. We've decoded enough of your communications to understand your intentions. The alien showed no reaction, though the universal translator they'd developed seemed to be working. Your leaders call it acquisition, Lisa continued. We call it invasion. Either way, it won't succeed. Tark finally spoke, his words translated by the system. Your species is primitive. You have no conception of the Varn Collective's power. Lisa smiled slightly. Are you certain about that? Your stealth technology failed. Your scout ship was tracked. You were captured. Does that suggest we're as primitive as you believed? A flicker of uncertainty crossed Tark's face. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the facility. A security officer burst into the room. Major Brown, we're detecting multiple objects entering Earth's atmosphere at high speed. They're heading straight for us. The Varn attack ships descended through Earth's atmosphere, their weapons charged. Commander Dex watched from the command ship, still troubled by the hasty decision to attack. Target locked, reported Officer Pell. The human military installation is directly below us. Fire warning shots first, Dex ordered. Let them see our power. Perhaps they will surrender without unnecessary destruction. The lead ships fired energy weapons that struck the desert around Area 51, creating massive explosions that shook the ground. Dex expected panic, disorganization, perhaps immediate surrender signals. What happened instead shocked him to his core. From Concealed Underground Hangars, Aircraft of unknown design launched into the sky. They moved with impossible speed and agility, their hulls gleaming with a material that partially deflected the Varn scanning systems. "What are those?" Dex demanded. "They weren't in any of our reconnaissance reports." Before anyone could answer, the Earth aircraft opened fire. Their weapons, some form of directed energy technology the Varn had never encountered, sliced through the shields of the attack ships with frightening ease. "Impossible," shouted Officer Mick. "Their weapons technology shouldn't be this advanced." 3 Varn ships exploded almost simultaneously. The others began evasive maneuvers, but the Earth aircraft pursued them with unerring precision. Then, from orbit, new energy signatures appeared. Hidden satellites suddenly revealed themselves, dropping their camouflage to expose weapon systems that immediately locked onto the Varn fleet. "Full retreat," Dex ordered, stunned by the unexpected resistance. "Return to the main fleet immediately." As the surviving attack ships fled back to space, Dex stared at the tactical display in disbelief. The humans had not only anticipated their attack but had prepared defenses specifically designed to counter Varn technology. This was no primitive species awaiting conquest. This was something the Varn had never encountered before, a world that had somehow prepared for an enemy they had never met. In the aftermath of the brief battle, Lisa returned to the containment cell. Tark sat perfectly still, but she could sense his shock. "Still think we're primitive?" she asked quietly. "How?" Tark's voice held genuine confusion. "How did you know to prepare such specific defenses against technology you've never encountered?" Lisa studied him for a moment before answering. "Because you're not the first to set your sights on Earth," she replied. "You're just the first we decided to warn instead of destroy completely." Tark's eyes widened as the implications became clear. Humanity wasn't just defending itself, it was sending a message to the entire Varn collective. The game had changed entirely. The aftermath of the failed Varn attack left Earth's leaders with a critical decision. In the Joint Defense Council room, heated debate filled the air. "We should launch a full counteroffensive while they're disorganized," argued the Russian. "General, show them our full strength immediately." General Harris shook his head. "That would be premature. We've bloodied their nose, yes, but we haven't seen their full capabilities either." The Chinese representative leaned forward. "What about the Blackout protocol? It's time to show them exactly what they're dealing with." A tense silence filled the room. The Blackout protocol was Earth's ultimate deterrent, a system so powerful it had never been tested at full capacity. "Madam President?" Harris turned to the American leader on the main screen. She nodded slowly. "Activate Blackout. Send the message." In the desert facility, Jack Miller worked frantically with a team of communication specialists. After the battle, he'd been transferred to Area 51 to assist with the next phase of Earth's defense plan. "The transmission package is ready," he told Lisa, who stood watching the large screens displaying Earth's orbital defense network. "Are we sure about this? Once they see what we can do." "They need to see it," Lisa replied firmly. "It's the only way to end this without full-scale war." Jack nodded and turned to his console. "Broadcasting now." Around Earth, hidden installations suddenly activated. Massive energy signatures appeared where nothing seemed to exist before, as hundreds of stealth platforms revealed themselves simultaneously. Aboard the Varn flagship, Commander Dex faced the wrath of Supreme Director Cass. "Your attack was a complete failure," Cass shouted, his image looming large on the command screen. "3 ships destroyed and the rest retreating like cowards." "Supreme Director, the humans have technology that wasn't in any of our scans," Dex explained urgently. "Their weapons penetrated our shields as if they were designed specifically to counter our systems." "Impossible." Cass dismissed the idea with a wave of his hand. "They are a primitive—" The communication suddenly cut off as alarms blared throughout the ship. "Commander!" Officer Pell's voice was tight with fear. "We're detecting massive energy buildups all around Earth's orbit. Hundreds of platforms. They were cloaked somehow." "Show me," Dex ordered. The main screen displayed a terrifying sight. Where moments before there had been empty space, Now hundreds of weapons platforms orbited Earth. Each one radiated energy readings that matched or exceeded the Varn's own weapon systems. "How did we miss this?" Dex whispered, stunned by the revelation. "Commander, we're receiving a transmission from Earth," Officer Mick reported. "It's being broadcast on all frequencies, including our secure channels." "How do they know our secure frequencies?" Dex demanded, but ordered, "Put it on screen." The image of General Harris appeared. Behind him stood representatives from Earth's major powers. "Attention, Varn collective vessels," Harris began, his voice calm but firm. "Your attack on our planet has been repelled. This was merely a demonstration of a fraction of our defensive capabilities." The screen split to show footage that made the Varn command staff gasp. It showed Earth's history of warfare, from ancient battles to modern conflicts. The brutal efficiency with which humans killed each other was shocking, even to the battle-hardened Varn. "Humanity has spent its entire history fighting," Harris continued. "We've fought each other for thousands of years, perfecting the art of war, and for the past 70 years, we've been preparing for you." "For us specifically?" Dex asked, though he knew the human couldn't hear his question. As if in answer, the screen changed again to show wreckage, alien wreckage that clearly wasn't Varn in design. "You're not the first to visit Earth with conquest in mind," Harris explained. "But unlike our previous visitors, we're giving you a warning instead of immediately destroying your fleet." Dex felt a chill run through him. The humans had faced other invaders and prevailed. The display changed to show the orbital platforms surrounding Earth. Each one powered up simultaneously, directing beams of energy that converged at a point just beyond the moon. The combined energy formed a sphere that suddenly expanded outward in a controlled wave. As the wave passed through space, it completely disabled 3 unmanned Varn scout ships that had been positioned to observe Earth. The ships didn't explode. They simply went dark, every system simultaneously failing. "This is our Blackout system," Harris explained. "A targeted electromagnetic pulse designed specifically to disable Varn technology. We've just demonstrated it at 5% capacity." Officer Mick looked up from his analysis console, his face pale. "Commander, at full power, that system could disable our entire fleet instantaneously." "We have advanced beyond what you believed possible," Harris continued, "and we've incorporated technology from those who came before you. We've spent decades preparing for this moment." The screen split again to show Earth's military forces, advanced aircraft, weapons systems, and soldiers, all mobilizing around the world. "We do not want war." Harris's voice became solemn. "But make no mistake, if you force this conflict, we will fight. Humanity has never been united before. You have given us that gift. Every nation, every person on Earth now stands as one against external threats." The final images showed Earth's hidden defense system in its entirety. Weapons platforms, spacecraft hangars opening in remote locations, missile silos emerging from beneath innocent-looking terrain. "You have 24 hours to withdraw from our solar system," Harris concluded. "After that, we will consider your presence an act of war and respond accordingly." The transmission ended, leaving the Varn Command Center in stunned silence. "Did it work?" Jack asked, watching the screens that monitored the Varn fleet's position. Lisa checked the data from Earth's long-range sensors. "Their ships are holding position. At least they didn't immediately attack." General Harris joined them, his face showing the strain of the past days. "Now we wait. Either they leave or we find out if our preparations were enough." "Will they really just leave?" Jack wondered aloud. "After coming all this way?" Lisa glanced toward the section of the facility where Tark, the captured Varn, was being held. "That depends on whether they believe us." In his private quarters, Commander Dex reviewed the human transmission for the 5th time. Their warning had been precise, methodical, and terrifying in its implications. A species that had evolved through constant warfare, that had apparently defeated previous alien encounters, and that had somehow anticipated Varn technology specifically. His door chimed, and Officer Mick entered carrying a data tablet. Commander, I've completed the analysis of the human defense system, Mick reported. It's remarkable. Their blackout technology appears to generate a targeted dampening field that affects only specific energy signatures. Ours, Dex said quietly. Yes. It's as if they've been studying our technology for decades, but that's impossible. Dex wasn't so sure anymore. Unless, sir, unless they've encountered other species with similar technology, species that never returned to the collective. The implication hung heavy in the air. The Varn had always assumed that exploration vessels that failed to return had met with natural disasters or technical failures, but what if some had found Earth? Dex made his decision. Prepare a communication to Supreme Director Cass. Include all data from the human transmission. I'm recommending an immediate withdrawal from this system. The Supreme Director won't be pleased, Mick warned. Better displeased than destroyed, Dex replied grimly. These humans are not what we thought they were. They're something far more dangerous, a species that has evolved through conflict and emerged stronger. As Mick left to prepare the communication, Dex looked once more at the final image from the human transmission. A unified Earth prepared for war, its hidden teeth finally bared to the stars. Supreme Director Cass's face filled the main screen of the Varn Command Center, his expression one of cold fury. The assembled officers stood rigidly at attention as their leader absorbed the information about Earth's warning and impressive display of power. This is unacceptable, Cass finally said, his voice dangerously quiet. The Varn Collective has never retreated. We have conquered 17 worlds. We will not be threatened by primitives who have barely left their own atmosphere. Commander, Dex stepped forward, choosing his words carefully. Supreme Director, with all due respect, these humans are far from primitive. Their technology suggests they've been preparing for this specific encounter for decades. Impossible, Cass dismissed. They couldn't have known of our existence. The evidence suggests they've encountered other spacefaring species before us, Dex countered. Species that may have had similar technology to ours. They've studied these encounters and prepared accordingly. Cass's eyes narrowed. You sound afraid, Commander. Not afraid, Supreme Director. Practical. Our mission was to find resources with minimal resistance. This world will extract a cost far greater than the value of its acquisition. The command center fell silent as Cass considered this. Finally, he spoke. You have 12 hours to subdue their primary defense systems. If you fail, you will be replaced. The full invasion fleet is already en route. The screen went dark, leaving Dex and his officers staring at each other. Prepare all vessels for combat, Dex ordered, his voice heavy. Target their orbital platforms first. If we can disable their blackout system, we might stand a chance. As his officers rushed to comply, Dex knew he was leading them into a battle they might not survive. But orders were orders, and the Varn Collective had never known defeat. In the underground command center beneath the Nevada desert, Earth's military leaders monitored the Varn fleet's movements with growing tension. They're repositioning, General Harris noted, watching the tactical display. Formation suggests they're preparing for an attack. Lisa Brown stood beside Jack Miller, both of them analyzing data from the long-range sensors. They didn't believe our warning, she said quietly. Or their leadership didn't, Jack replied. Our prisoner Tark seemed convinced. Harris turned to his communications officer. Is the broadcast ready? Yes, sir. All systems standing by. Harris nodded grimly. Then it's time to show them we weren't bluffing. He pressed a button on the command console. This is General Harris. Activate Horizon. Authorization code Alpha 7 Delta Omega. Around the world, hidden facilities powered up. Simultaneously, deep beneath the oceans, in remote mountain ranges and concealed in what appeared to be ordinary satellites, the Horizon system came fully online for the first time. The Varn attack fleet moved into position, weapons charged and targeting Earth's orbital defense platforms. From the command ship, Dex gave the order to fire. Streams of energy lanced out toward Earth's defenses. But something unexpected happened. The beams curved away before reaching their targets, deflected by an invisible shield that suddenly enveloped the entire planet. What's happening? Dex demanded. Officer Mick stared at his instruments in disbelief. They've activated some kind of planetary shield. It's unlike anything in our records. Before Dex could respond, all screens on the command deck suddenly displayed the same image. General Harris, standing calmly in Earth's command center. Commander Dex, Harris addressed him directly, shocking the Varn officers. We know your name, your rank, and the composition of your fleet. We know you've been ordered to attack despite our warning. We regret that your leadership has made this choice. The image changed to show a massive, previously hidden installation on Earth's moon, a structure that hummed with power as it directed energy toward the Varn fleet. This is Horizon, Harris's voice continued. The system we developed after studying technology from the last 3 species who attempted to invade Earth. Dex felt a chill run through him. 3 previous invasions? We didn't want to activate it, Harris said. But you've left us no choice. The lunar installation fired, not a destructive beam, but a wave of energy that washed over the Varn fleet. Instantly, every system on every ship froze. Weapons, engines, life support. All remained functional but completely unresponsive to commands. On the command deck, Dex watched in horror as his control interfaces went dark, then reactivated with unfamiliar symbols. The humans had somehow taken control of their entire system. We could destroy your fleet, Harris explained. But that's not our way. Instead, we're giving you a choice. Your ships are now under our control. We will allow you to leave our solar system with your lives and a message for your leaders. The image changed to show Tark, the captured Varn scout, standing beside Lisa Brown. Your scout has learned much about humanity during his brief stay, Harris continued. He will be returned to you to share what he has learned. Perhaps it will help the Varn Collective make better choices in the future. Tark sat across from Lisa in the transport shuttle heading toward the Varn command ship. After weeks in captivity, he had developed a reluctant respect for humans. Your species is strange, he said finally. You have the power to destroy us, yet you choose restraint. Lisa smiled slightly. Destruction is easy. Coexistence is harder, but ultimately more beneficial. We learned that lesson through centuries of fighting each other. The collective won't stop, Tark warned. They'll return with a larger force. Perhaps, Lisa acknowledged. But they'll return knowing what awaits them. And perhaps your testimony will convince them to find another path. Tark looked out at the stars. In all our conquests, we've never encountered a species like yours. You're dangerous not because you're violent, but because you've learned from your violence. That's humanity's great strength, Lisa replied. We learn, we adapt, we grow. 2 days later, Commander Dex stood before the Varn High Council, Tark at his side. The council chamber was silent as they finished their report on Earth. You mean to tell us, the head counselor said incredulously, that these humans not only repelled our attack but temporarily took control of our ships, then simply let you go? Yes, counselor, Dex confirmed. They returned our scout and restored control of our vessels on the condition that we leave their system and deliver their message. Which is? Earth is not for conquest, Tark spoke up. They wish to be left in peace, but they are prepared for war if necessary. They suggest diplomatic contact instead, should the collective wish to establish relations. The counselors murmured among themselves. Finally, the head counselor spoke. In all our history, the collective has never retreated from a target world. He paused, then added, but neither have we encountered a species capable of such resistance and such restraint. The decision was made unanimously. Earth would be added to the Varn Collective's registry, not as a conquest, but as a sovereign world to be approached with caution and respect. On Earth, life gradually returned to normal, though nothing would ever be quite the same. Humanity had faced its first public contact with alien life and emerged not just intact, but stronger. In the Nevada facility, now being transformed into an interstellar diplomatic center, Jack stood beside Lisa, watching the stars through the reinforced glass ceiling. Do you think they'll come back? He asked. Lisa nodded. They'll be back. But next time I think they'll knock on the front door instead of trying to break in through the window. Jack smiled. We should probably put up a welcome sign then. Or at least a doorbell. Lisa agreed, looking up at the vast expanse of space, with new eyes. Humanity had earned its place among the stars, not through conquest but through the wisdom earned from centuries of conflict and the strength to choose peace when possible. Earth's warning had been heard across the stars, and the message was clear. This small blue planet was home to a species that was not to be underestimated.